Joseph chapter of the National Honor Society today. I think nationwide there's about 1 million people, 1 million students in the National Honor Society. It's been going for 96 years. And, this is my first time being involved in it, so I'm really happy to be up here talking to everyone. It seems amazing to me, but over the past 4 years, when I look at the people up on the stage and in the audience here, there's over like 105, I think, students at St. Joe's who are on National Honor Society. I'm fortunate to have virtually, I think, every single one of them in one of my social studies classes up there on the 3rd floor. The other day in study hall, Jacob Anthony, who I said I was going to talk about today, and I did. So Jacob Anthony said, Mr. Furreness, he said, you're John 3:16. I was like, that just like blew my mind. I mean, here I am at a private Catholic school, and my first name, if you didn't know, is John, and my classroom is 3:16. I'm in John 3:16. Wow, I've been up there for like maybe 12 years. I had no idea. So anyway, when I, as a history teacher, I thought of, what was one word that I could come up with to think about and describe all of these 105 students who are on National Honor Society. So as a history teacher, the word I came up with, and I'm sure Mr. Van will appreciate this, is a Greek word, arete. Right? The idea or notion of the pursuit of excellence in all things. And these, from what I've seen of these students, it's not only in the field of athletics, academics, the arts, community service. It is everything that they have done in their life. I have them in class. I see what they're like on a day-to-day basis. I know that it's a lot to live up to. I know having these strengths also, there is an issue of facing criticisms, because it's really tough all the time to live up to those standards. But I want to hold on a second because I want to get back to the National Honor Society students in a minute, but first I want to talk a little bit about me. So anyway, they said I had an open mic, so I was going to go for it as long as I could here. So anyway, growing up on a dairy farm in rural Minnesota, I never dreamed that I would be fast approaching my 30th year in education as a teacher and a coach. In fact, students often say to me, Mr. Furreness, don't you get bored teaching the same thing every day for all of these years? And I say to them, not a chance. All right? You don't get it. Okay? So here I have a little analogy. I like to get into some analogies. So here I have a little analogy. All right? So growing up on a dairy farm, is that teacher is a lot like being a farmer. Okay? So a farmer plants a seed in the ground, nurtures it, waters it, watches it grow, all at the same time knowing that there are hundreds of different things that could come up that could be a challenge for your crop. All of these different variables that could affect the outcome of your crop. And so I see as a teacher and a coach on a daily basis that students in my classroom, I must be able to deal with a multitude of different personalities, a multitude of different backgrounds, and as an educator, you just can't afford to see a student as a seed in the ground. You have to be able to have a vision to help your students grow and reach their goals in life. So, in addition to this, I got another little story that I want to tell. So, when I was in college, I ran track at Minnesota State Mankato, and I would go, we'd go to reunions and stuff, and, this is before the internet came out, so you sit around with all your buddies and you talk about how fast you used to run, and no one can look that information up like they can today. So, we sit and talk about stuff, and my friends there would say, who, by the way, sometimes make 5, 10, maybe even 20 times more than I make in a year. They always say to me, you are lucky. You are a very lucky person. So you're the person, you are the one who's living the dream. And I said, you're living the dream. And I said, what are you talking about? Living the dream. And they said, you don't do what you have to do. You do what you want to do. And so I see that as like being on the front line of the future. Being in education offers a new challenge every day. Of course, we know that we're faced with many hurdles, and it requires passionate individuals who are willing to accept the challenge head on. So my response to that is no, it's not a boring job. There's a lot of stuff going on. So I know a lot of you guys know that I enjoy a good quote and a catchphrase. From time to time, it kind of helps spice up the day. So in cross country, our entire program is basically based on one quote. And that quote is derived from something that Aristotle supposedly said. It is, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, therefore, isn't an act, it's a habit. So many of our athletes in cross country, and I'm sure in other sports, spend hundreds of hours a year learning how to develop the habit that they are in. And in my case, it would be the habit of running. I also teach an elective class called American Issues. And this class is essentially based on 3 catchphrases that I have. It is the notion of agreeing to disagree, the casket and the eulogy, back to Jerry Seinfeld, and having a good chat. We always want to have a good chat in class. So yeah, I like quotes and catchphrases. So in preparing for this speech, some of my students suggested that maybe I throw a few of these in as we were going along. So we'll see what happens when I get to the good part. So now, this is the part of the speech where it's customary in our society for advice to be given. So I'm supposed to give some kind of advice here. So after much deliberation, I came up with 2 things that I wanted to say as advice for our National Honor Society students. And that is, number 1, don't make a living, make a difference. So what I want to say about that is, reflect on the type of person you are. Have a vision to become the type of person that you want to be in the future. Don't get caught up in all of those material possessions and things like that. Let that slide. Find a life that is meaningful to yourself, to your loved ones, and those around you. Make a difference in the world that is in desperate need of leadership, positive leadership. How can you possibly do this? Well, in order to do this, you have to look at yourself and you have to understand the big picture. So to do that, you must face the oven while cooking. This is number 2. There will be setbacks. Don't be defined by them. Right, so one of the statements I like to make in coaching that I have with my athletes is fail every time until you succeed. That's where your growth comes from. We fail from time to time, and that's okay. It's how we bounce back from those failures. So don't dwell on your setbacks. Learn from them and move forward as a better person. Because if we don't, we are doomed to make the same mistakes in the future. And we all know about this because history doesn't repeat itself, but it sure does not. In closing, I'd like to congratulate our NHS members. I'm very proud of you, and the entire school is. And I'd like to leave you then with a quote, obviously, as a runner from the immortal American middle distance runner, Steve Prefontaine. To give anything less than your best is to sacrifice the gift. Thank you.